Hello. Happy 4th of July. It's warm. It's summer. And there'll be lots of fireworks tonight for my dogs to freak out over, so I'll have to dose them with full spectrum CBD oil. Celebrating America's independence. If our forefathers who signed the Declaration could see what our country is like now, would they be proud? No. Why? Well, I could tell you a lot of reasons why, but some of you would not agree with my reasoning. That's okay. You can disagree. Is it still the greatest country to live in the world? Of course it is. It's America. Okay, it's in the United States. Do we have problems? Yeah. And the first person that hollers at me out there in media land about arms control, personal arms control, you're just not swift. You want to know why I think you're not swift? Because you're not thinking about all the things that are involved with this. Do I own armaments? No. I wish I did, but I don't really know how to handle them. I'm kind of scared of them, so therefore I shouldn't be having any. Should I learn? Yes. I've just never had any close friends or a spouse that took the initiative to teach the ignorant girl who wasn't taught anything when she was younger, because she was a girl and girls weren't supposed to learn those things according to the culture that my father was raised in. Not really his fault, just the cultural background from way back when, that culture background. So there's a lot of things that I've never really learned how to do or have done, and I hope I don't have to ever do them. It's so hot. Y'all, I put antiperspirant on my face. Yes, antiperspirant. I know that's probably not a safe thing to do with aluminum and all, but my face sweats more than anything. It's some kind of condition actually called hydro something or another. It's when you have overactive nervous system in certain areas where there's sweat glands in your skin. Some people have them in obscure places that gets embarrassing for them, like under their arms. But the face, I'd rather sweat under my arms profusely than my face, because to me that just looks like something's wrong with you, because people think something's wrong with you because like you're ill, you're drunk, you're on drugs. I mean, okay, but I digress. Okay, if you make all the law-abiding folks difficult to carry or have ways to defend themselves, all the non-law-abiding folks will find ways to get them. I mean, the whole Just Say No program was an epic fail. The cartels, that run what's to the south of us, blowing back and forth, the whole illegal drug trade, epic fail. There wouldn't be giant cartels out there if they weren't making a buttload of money. Let's be serious here, folks. So you're just going to do the same thing, only you're going to do it with armaments, because they already do things like this with armaments along with the whole drug thing. Part of their whole epic business. So you can't convince me. I mean, duh. Okay. Other problems that plague America, besides what I just mentioned, drug use. People trying to escape reality. That's been since the beginning of time. First it was alcohol, then it was opium, and whatever else. Marijuana, which marijuana is great for medical purposes, but if you're just trying to escape reality. Okay, if your reality is pain-riddled and miserable, I understand that. But if you're trying to escape reality because you don't want to deal with life in general, then you have a problem that needs to be addressed. But otherwise, I don't really have problems with marijuana. I don't smoke it. I mean, because I don't like smoke. Anyway, what's another problem? Racism. Racism's always been a problem. Not just here, but other countries. People are suspicious of people that are different from them. Neighborhood-wise, country-wise, color tones. I am bright white, folks. I have a suntan. That's why I look a little less bright white, but that's because I have ancestors that came from Northern Europe, way far from the equator, where people have pale white skin and tend to have more pointy noses like mine to warm the air as it goes in, because the air is colder in Northern Europe. I also have ancestry that is closer to the equator, Native American, Indigenous Americas, Mexico. I just got the bright white genes showing up more. Am I a racist? No. I looked at my Ancestry.com genetic background. Folks, not just Northern Europe, I mean, that's the bright white, the closest relatives. Not just Indigenous America, Mexico, but also South America, Chile. Somebody came from Chile. Somebody came from Senegal. Oh, that's Africa, folks. So I've got Basque Spanish, which is more Southern Europe. Man, I'm the true melting pot. Every continent except Australia, apparently. So, and really, some of my folks may have came to Australia. Who knows? But I digress again. I'm talking about Happy 4th of July. And why this is still the greatest country despite its problems. Violence is a problem. You know why people are violent? They want things they can't have. Money, power. Some people are mentally ill because they live in such a crazy world. They can't handle it. Don't get the proper mental health or spiritual care. Man, without Jesus in your life, you couldn't fight a mental illness and win. That's just that. Lots of people do love Jesus, but the mental illness really takes over their life in such a way, just the way, like depression, for instance, the way diabetes, high blood sugar, takes over someone's life and can kill them, not because they're a bad person. What's wrong with this country? We do not have proper health care. Oh yes, we have the American Affordable Care Act, which basically wasn't really affordable for me, because when I had it, I was thankful that I was able to have insurance, but every time I got a slight raise, premium shot up. So it's kind of like a handicapped horse in a race. See, you put weight on me to keep me even with the rest of the horses so I can't get ahead. But if I'm poor enough, I can have free health care and free food. As long as I promise to stay poor and don't try to get myself better. It's so screwed up. Yes, America has screwed up problems. But it's still the greatest country in the world. And if you don't like it, hey, you can move to China. China, well, they probably won't take you, actually. They don't like us. Okay, you can move to Canada. You might be able to move over there. Oh, I think his name's Trudeau. He might take you. But ask some of the truckers from Canada how things are for them. Because some bad things happen to them. Look it up. I'm not going to get into it on here. It's the tube of the U, and they don't like you to speak your mind about everything. The border crisis. Lord, I feel for these folks coming from these poor countries. They just want a better life. They want to live in America. That's great. People say do it the proper way. The proper way is expensive. You know why I know that? Because I used to work for someone who used foreign labor from Mexico. Best workers I have ever seen. I've worked with Americans with great work ethics. Don't get me wrong. Some great ones. Love them. Love them. Still do. But those fellas from Mexico can run circles around 99% of Americans their age. You want to know why? Because they want to get paid and send money back home to their families. They're not going to whine. But they had to pay a lot of money to get over here. I mean, not up front necessarily, but when you're a visa worker, there's cost involved. There's legal costs, immigration lawyers, and all that. Well, of course, the company, is involved in that, but the workers pay back a lot of this stuff to their employer, because this is their visa for them. So it's costly. But they did it the right way, yes. But these folks that can't have access to these things or are too poor to get into such a program immediately, or don't have the connection, whatever. They're in somewhere in Sinaloa, which isn't a lot of opportunity there, but they will literally float across this river with their babies, try to swim across it with their babies, and sometimes they drown, sometimes their babies drown. Some of them cross with coyotes, as they call them, and get left in you see I'm sweating now. It's nothing like being thrown in the back of a trailer, shut, locked up, no air, and then they decide to just abandon you because they might get in trouble and get caught, and you and your family are left there to die. I find it hard to be hateful about that. I feel for these people, I do. They just want a better life. They want out of maybe their areas overrun with drug trafficking, and maybe there's just no food, maybe there's no opportunity, maybe their crops fail. They're coming here for the same reason that my ancestors came here. Opportunity. Trying to find a way. Now, it's very difficult for them to get work legally, but once they get over, they can try to go through the process. So we have all these pins at the border, and I have family that says, well, they should cross legally. They knew it was going to happen. Yeah, they took that chance. Now, there's a lot of sneakiness coming across that border with them. Drugs, terrorists, other bad things. Sure, yes. That's why it's got to be monitored, yes. There's got to be a better way. Process these people. Get them situated to where they can do something. I don't know. The whole process is broke. So, yes, that's something that's wrong with America. Proper immigration. Because you all want some good workers. People complain about their workers, man. Especially these jobs that nobody wants to do hardly, or it's just like, I'll work here a little while till I get something better kind of job. These folks will bust their butt for that job because they didn't have that where they came from. And they will do the best job you ever saw, provided you get honest people working for you, because they're dishonest, bad in every group. But once again, happy 4th of July. I labeled the things that I know of that are bad about America, but there's good here. People are celebrating with families and friends with barbecue right now. Barbecue, I love barbecue. There's Jell-O cake with the Cool Whip on top, and the blueberries and the strawberries that we used to see every year on TV, the ads for. There's Coca-Cola. There's all kinds of goodies to eat today. There's firecrackers tonight. My dogs will be petrified. There's people happy and celebrating because we do live in the greatest country. It does have problems. We, the people, need to step up and do something about it in a positive, proactive way. Not blame other people and not complain. This country needs Jesus. All the liberals can argue with me about that. But folks, you can't legislate what's good and bad on certain issues. I respect life in all its forms. I have people say, the people say, well, they want that baby to be born so bad. But then after it comes out, they don't do anything to help it. If that mama can't afford to have it, or the mama's on drugs, or the mama just don't want it. That's another thing that's wrong. So yes, if we are pro-life, then we need to be pro-life from conception to death. So that mother needs to be supported. She may need financial support. She will need spiritual support, because raising children is difficult. She'll need support. Oh, well, we don't want our tax money going to all that. It's a useful use of tax money compared to other things. Something with the initials of PP. That's the opposite of the pro. L. So, guess what? There could be training, housing, things to keep these children from getting lost into bad lifestyles, things to help support these mothers learn, good trades, stuff to help them make a living. So yes, pro-life means supporting life from conception to death. Old folks need help too, especially the ones that don't have anybody. Who used to do a lot of the stuff that, okay, back in the day there wasn't a lot of unplanned pregnancy because people were very cautious about their moral lifestyle, and there wasn't a lot of older people being left to their own self to take care of, because many homes were multi-generational. Grandma and grandpa lived with you and your parents. Maybe you stayed with your parents longer because maybe your husband was in the military or something, or y'all, whatever. Families helped each other more. And the church was more involved in helping people. It is today a necessary thing for churches to step up. I know a particular church that I attend that feeds the elderly in the town that I'm in every first Monday of the month. That's the only time they have. I mean, people have to work, so they can't do it every Monday, of course. I'm sure they would if they could, but it's just not feasible. Not enough people to want to do such a thing. If the community came together, it probably could be possible somehow, and funds be raised, because these people are so happy to get this meal. It just saves them some trouble, saves them some money. They don't have to get up and fix something or worry about getting something. Their loved ones don't have to worry about it. It's just caregiver stress and things. The same thing with young mothers struggling. Well, some people's like, oh, they get all them food stamps. So, honey, I know when I'm behind a food stamp family or mom in the grocery store. And I'm going to tell you why. Most of y'all know this. She's got a buggy full of food that I couldn't buy with the money I make on this job or the previous one or the one before that, etc., etc. But because she falls in the income line, whether this line is fudged or not, and has so many kids and rent deduction or whatever, she might get $750 worth of food stamps a month. I could never afford to spend all that. Have never been able to afford. But instead of judging that mama, be glad her kids are getting fed. And there's a lot of people that fall in between. They fall in between. Like, I've been in there. I'm that person that would a lot of times fall between being able to qualify for food stamp help and not qualify. So when I would go to the store, I could go and grab this, and this, and that was it. Never no basket overflowing. So that's kind of wrong with America. But then they're able, but also another reason is because they get these food stamps all at one time. So they just go to the grocery store and get a bunch of stuff one time, stick it in the freezer, and more or less are done. Now, there's dishonest people that sell them, that go with a grocery list for somebody else maybe or whatever and get stuff and trade. And that happens. That happens for reasons. Maybe they need to pay their electric bill, for instance. Then there's also dishonest reasons, like maybe they want to get their nails done. I have seen some nails on some girls, ringing them up. I'm thinking, I can't afford to do my nails, but here they are with all their food, their steaks. And that sounds ugly of me to say that, but it's just out there. But at least there's kids getting fed. So the ones that fall in between the cracks, that's where we, the Christian folk, need to step in, kind of just help them out. Can I cook a meal for you? Right now, my income, I can go help somebody cook a meal for you, but I can't afford to go buy the stuff to cook your meal. At least at this particular moment that this video is being made, which is prior to the actual July 4th. But maybe there's something else that you can do. Hey, you want me to watch your kids for an hour while you get a break? To go just decompress or whatever, take a walk. There's always things we can do to support each other instead of complain about what we see our government messing up with or the system being abused. Be proactive. Reactive people sit there and whine about stuff. Well, I would if I could. I would if so-and-so wasn't causing me this problem. Or I would if I could have the time, but I don't. Make some time. Proactive. Action verb. Love is an action verb, and we are commanded to love one another. I used that statement on an Instagram reel a while back, and someone shot back at me. Well, shouldn't we love because we want to, not because Jesus told us to? I think he would like that better. Well, duh. There's always a troll. Instagram's got some trolls. Well, so does YouTube. I'm sure I'll find a few after this video. So I told this person, I replied back, I sent them a direct message. I said, tomorrow I'm making a reel just for you. Thank you for pointing that out. So my next reel said, I love you, not only because God told me to, but because of my reaction to the love he has for me. And that's what I'm going to leave with you with. I love America. God bless me by putting me here. I'm not sure why he has me in this time frame, because I'd been better off probably in the 1950s. But anyway, we're in this time frame. God put me here for such a time as this, whatever it is. I thank you, Lord, for everything you have blessed me with. Sometimes I'm going, where's it at? But that's just me being me. I thank you for putting me in this country, Lord. I thank you. I thank you that I wasn't born in Bosnia or Russia or China or any of them places that we're kind of like nervous about from the Eastern Bloc, or those Asian countries that have this government that's a C word, or the DICT word. Because if I was in one of those countries, I wouldn't be able to make this video or post it, although it's getting there. So who knows, this video may get. But I thank the Lord that I'm able to sit here and say this. I thank the Lord that I'm able to go to church and worship freely, at least for now. So whatever we think is wrong with our country, then it's up to us to be proactive and be the positive change that we want to see. So go out there and bless somebody. Go out there and make time. Go out there and be proactive in other people's lives to help them, to lift them up. Because the only Christ they may ever see, the only Bible they may ever read, is the one they see in you or me. Happy 4th. God bless America. May we repent and turn back to him, Lord, because we need to. Help us, Lord. Help us, Lord Jesus.